Well, we all love seeing Christmas plants out this time of year, but how do we properly take care of them? Well, that's why we have Lance Robertson with Plants here to help. Always good to see you. How are things?
It's great. I love the winter time. It's a whole new set of plants for me, and we're ready for it.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to learn about what we've got on the table here. And these are kind of what's defined as a photoperiod plant. So tell me what exactly that is. If someone's like, what in the world is that, Lance?
Yeah, so a lot of plants here in Texas that we see during the winter time are actually from somewhere else.
Yeah.
We just use them here because our temperatures are a little bit better for them, or maybe more adapt for them during our winter time,
Okay.
where they may not be so great where they're from or in other places.
Yeah.
So photoperiod is one, especially with like the poinsettias. This is really something that's common for them and is needed for them to be this bright color, and that's 12 hours of darkness. Now, photoperiod is
Whoa.
just a way that plants measure light and dark, and
Okay.
they need certain amounts of dark or light to do their flowering process. So in poinsettias, they need 12 hours of darkness.
Yeah.
So in Texas, for us to get them ready, we have to cover them up for a little while. We give them 12 hours of darkness.
Sure.
Sometimes it's within shade. Sometimes it's just giving them a little bit of under table, but making sure that they have that 12 hours of darkness is how they really have these beautiful colored bracts.
Which is kind of crazy to think about because I don't know much about plants, which is why we're so grateful to have you. But it's like most of the time we think about how much light they need versus not need. So it's crazy that like that's how this works.
Yeah, so these plants are from Guatemala, and really where they're at, they're coastal. The weather doesn't change a lot. So they kind of needed a way to keep a cycle of when are the bugs going to be out? When are we going to be able to propagate with our
Yeah.
flowers? So this is one of the few things in nature that changes. There's the amount of light during the day. There's about a three-month window down there where that period is less than 12 hours.
Yeah.
So that's when they flower, even in the native. Now, native, they're trees. Well, small trees, big shrubs.
Okay.
They're 12 foot tall, 15 foot tall, and have kind of a stem that you would more think of like a tree, but they are gorgeous, and they really do flower during the wintertime.
Wow, that is okay. So then how does that work with some of the other plants you brought on the table here?
So this one is a little bit different. This one, when I first learned about, I learned of it as the Flor de Mayo. And that's because my friends were from the Southern Hemisphere, and this flowers in May down there. That's because in the Southern Hemisphere, they get their 12 hours of darkness in what we think of as the summertime,
Yeah.
in May, June, July. So we have always called these locally Christmas cactus or Thanksgiving
Christmas
cactus,
cactus,
holiday
okay.
cactus. But these are actually epiphytes. These are cactus that live up in trees and rainforests.
Epiphytes, that's a fun word.
Yeah, so they live up in trees and rainforests, and you'll actually see if you see them. The reason why I have this one in a hanging basket is they're really made to have a relationship with hummingbirds. They have a very tubular flower, and if you actually look at them from the bottom, the flowers look better. They're very different from the top than the bottom.
Interesting.
You can actually see the petals and everything face downward.
Yeah.
And that's because they're up in trees trying to get hummingbirds to come up at them to pollinate them.
Yeah, it's true because even like the ones hanging here in the back of this pot, like it looks more lively, which is interesting.
Yeah, so the reason why, again, this is one that we see is because of the darkness.
Yeah.
But the reason why we have it here and it does so well is it really likes what we have as indoor temperatures. This plant is absolutely perfect, 68 degrees
Yeah.
almost year round.
Okay.
It likes it a little colder at night sometimes, but for the most part, it can live indoors year round.
Living indoor year round, that sounds ideal.
Yeah, so if you had one last year and you're like, why isn't this thing flowering? More than likely what I find is somebody sends me a picture, like send me a picture of it, but send me a picture of it at nighttime. And they're like, why is that? And they'll send me a picture and I'll say, just outside that window, you've got a bright red street light. And that plant can tell that that light is on and it is not going to flower because it is not getting enough darkness.
So sometimes it's the little kind of common things that we don't think about.
Just little things, same thing with poinsettias. People get poinsettias, they get so big if
Yeah.
you keep them another year. Buy poinsettias and keep them. They're amazing. They'll flower again several years. They can live for lifetimes. But the problem is if you don't let them have that darkness, they're never going to turn the bright colors that you want them to. So you may have to closet them for a few weeks.
Yeah.
It seems ridiculous sometimes when you're like, I know this plant needs light, but I've got to put it in a closet. That's how we get it to flower.
I mean, if you want them to be successful, that's what you have to do. Okay, tell me about this little white plant on the end here.
So this is cyclamen. This one is actually not photoperiod. The reason why I like to show this one is this is another one that we see in the wintertime, but the reason why we see it in the wintertime is because it goes dormant in the summertime. It is basically a potato, a real fancy potato. Not really, they're not truly related, but it does have a tuber just like a potato. It's a modified stem. The roots will come out. The leaves will all come out of this thing. They flower, they're amazing during the winter time. They don't like a crazy hard freeze. If we have a snowpocalypse, they're gonna get hurt just a little bit, but they'll come back when the temperatures are nice. when we start getting hot, they're just gonna die to their little tuber.
Yeah.
They're just gonna die where you have a little potato in your pot, put it somewhere where it's dry.
Yeah.
They'll flush and come back pretty the next year.
I love that. Okay, so if we are unsure on the amount of light that they need, what's kind of like an easy way to gauge that or know that?
You have to know the plant.
Okay.
Certainly on cyclamen and the Sclimbergia, the more light they can get, the better they're going to do.
Okay.
But they do need that 12 hours of darkness on the poinsettias and the Sclimbergia because they need that. But they do need a lot of energy while they're flowering.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean they need no light throughout the day. They do want some light for that energy. The sun is what gives the plants the energy. But they do need the darkness kind of as a rest period so that they know, hey, it's time to flower. It's time to be beautiful for nature.
I love that kind of like distinction there. And then, you know, if there's someone watching who knows you or is curious and maybe getting some tips from you, are they able to contact you and kind of get that assistance?
Yeah, my name's Lance. If you put a P in front of that, that's Plants. I'm Lance at plants.org. I really will respond to emails. Our website has a submission form.
Okay.
If you can find these in nature, they're enormous. I would love for you to send me a giant, oh, I'm in Guatemala for the holidays. I did see your giant poinsettia. Send me a picture. Those are the things that I love, is to see somebody that found something that they'd only seen in a store sometime and see it out in nature. So.
All right, well, I'm always learning something new when you're here, Lance. Thanks so much for joining us, as always. All right, you guys, well, as he said, for more information, visit plants.org with any requests.